You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live. Next, featuring intimate and in-depth interviews with Black Hollywood's next edition of stars and influencers. Black Hollywood Live. Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live, next.
Hello. Happy Friday. Welcome to Black Hollywood Live. Oh, here we go. Trophies selected by our guest.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Jessica King, also the producer of Fox's hit show, Dish Nation. Check it out. And I'm joined by the hilarious comedian. Tell us who you are.
Nick Perdue, guys.
There we go.
Check it out.
And we have a very special guest today who chose our theme song for the day. Please welcome LaRoyce Hawkins.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man.
We ain't playing. Thank you for having me.
Is this your song of the moment?
Yeah,
Is your
yeah.
jam?
I'm really enjoying Drake these days.
Yeah.
He's making songs that I can relate to.
Nice. Well, let's
that I
get
can feel.
right into it. We're going to dig deep and
Okay.
learn a lot about you today.
Let's do it.
So you grew up in Chicago.
Yep, Harvey
and
specifically.
Harvey, Chicago.
Yeah.
And you attended Thornton Township High School.
That's right.
How did growing up in Chicago affect who you are today?
Well, I think it made me everything I am. It made me everything I ain't, in a sense. I don't want to use the word sheltered necessarily, but I was able to avoid most of the distractions, the gangs, the drugs, and the violence. That's very prevalent in Harvey, where I'm from. Mm-hmm. But I was able to avoid it because, I just had a powerful household. My grandparents weren't going for that. I went to a private school all the way up until high school. And so when I got to Thornton, I hadn't already been affected by the choices to, sell drugs or be involved with those types of things. So Thornton was a different experience for me, but I still kind of had the side effects. Like I still lost close friends to gang violence and things like that. So growing up for me, I'm from the hood, and so I understand it. It's in me, but I'm not of the hood in the sense that I can be here today with us, and I can kind of tell that story. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, while you were at Thornton, you played basketball, right?
Yeah, a couple of years. I wasn't bad. I was nice.
you had a nice little crossover?
Well, I didn't have to cross people over, man. I played the 4 and the 5.
Okay,
So
you
know
were
what I'm
just
saying? I had powerful post moves.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were also you were state champion on the speech team.
Yeah.
Right.
That was my bread and butter. That's when I discovered that I can entertain, and then I started, and in my opinion, that's when I really started making a difference in my life.
Okay. Well, what was your biggest focus? Was it basketball or was it speech?
For a little bit, I tried to juggle both, and then it got to the point where my coaches, speech coaches, basketball coaches, they made me decide because the schedules conflicted.
Right.
Speech team the speech season, the basketball season, they were the same. So I ended up going with speech because I did like the funny events. I started off in stand-up, speech introduced me to stand-up comedy, and it just felt better to make people laugh than it did to watch that ball go through the net after a while. So I had to rock with what I felt better about, and I'm glad I did.
There you go.
Well, after high school, you stayed close to home and you decided to attend Illinois State University, where you studied acting.
Yeah.
So you already had your sights set on the acting bug. Did you ever want to try to go to a school closer to the West Coast, maybe?
No, Illinois State, when I went and visited that school, it was one of those colleges that felt like a college. It was far away. It was far enough away from home for me to feel away, but close enough to where, if I really needed to reach out, I could still get that love. And I really enjoyed the program. The nature of the program for me was incredible. They don't really throw you out there to the acting wolves right when you get started. They allow you to get your feet wet. You can't even really start doing any plays until your second semester.
Right.
So, I really enjoyed how they let me take my time with that. And going to Illinois State was the best decision I could ever have made because I went to that school, I ended up getting cast in my first movie, which was The Express, the Ernie Davis story.
Yeah.
And had I not gone there, then I wouldn't have had the chance to to meet that casting director that I graduated from Illinois State that was casting the movie.
Okay. So he went back to the school to cast it?
Yeah, it was she. Her name was Jennifer Rednicki.
Okay.
And with her being an alumni, she sent an email to the theater program looking for a black actor that could play a black athlete. And I was probably the only one in the program at the time that could pull that off. And so I went to the audition really doing a favor for the program, not knowing that it was a major motion picture. And so when I walked in and I saw like all the posters of the films that I enjoyed and some of my favorite movies, I went to the bathroom, said a prayer, did some push-ups, and the rest is history.
Is that your routine? Do some push-ups, pump you up?
Yeah, push-ups and prayer.
I love it.
So I get down.
So how many push-ups did you do before this interview?
I did like 25 in the driveway.
So now, while you were in college, you also auditioned for the role of Otis in Chicago Fire.
Yeah.
Right? So now, if you would have gotten that role, would you have not finished college because you were this close to graduating?
Yeah, I was pretty close to graduating. I was like a few months away, and I'm not gonna lie, I was ready for it.
Yeah.
I wanted to leave.
You would
I
have
was
taken
like,
it?
of course I would have. I would have taken it, man. But it was one of those things where it just wasn't in the cards. I'm glad it worked out the way it did.
Right.
Because Yuri is doing an amazing job with that role. It's probably my favorite over there on Chicago Fire. And the Chicago PD opportunity wouldn't have worked out. And I think being a cop, especially where I'm from, where cops aren't necessarily the most respected, so to be able to play a police officer and then go back to, on my block and, see a little homie that sees me on TV, I can just share the police in a different light because I play a character that has integrity and, treats people the way they want to be treated. Right. It worked out for the best. And that's why I had to buckle down those last 3 months and make sure I got out of there.
Yeah.
But it was cool.
Yeah, that's good. And, also being a positive role model, being a young black man on TV, people could look up and say, okay, and you're not like a thug on TV.
Yeah,
and
I'm used to playing those thug roles. My first few characters that I booked for guest spots were, hustlers and gangbangers, drug dealers, which is fun to play, but, I'd much rather play one on TV than one in real life. You get paid a lot more, too.
Right.
But this cop role was definitely special. You're right.
So what was the audition process like for it?
It was one of those things where I was doing a play at the time. I was doing a play at the Goodman Theatre in Chicago, and I was fortunate that they allowed me to audition for it because the play schedule and the shooting schedule could have conflicted, but they allowed me to do it. And I just auditioned once. I heard that they liked me. Next thing I know, I was doing my thing, but I think they already had me in their back pocket from Chicago Fire situation. Right. So getting the role wasn't as hard or difficult as the stress and the anxiety of waiting to see if the role was going to carry over to PD or if PD was going to get picked up in the first place, for NBC. So that part was probably the most difficult for me as an artist. But getting the role, I just went in there and, I did the prayer and push-ups worked again.
Well, while you were on Fire, the producers got to know you and heard about where you were from, and they kind of made this role after you being from Harley, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How does that feel? Is that like so flattering to know that,
That's one of my favorite things. It's one of my favorite things about it. When they told me that the character was going to be from Harvey, I believed them, and I liked that. But then, later on, we'll find out that he's really from Harvey. It's not just something that they told me to feel comfortable in the skin of that character. It's a real fact about this person, and I think when Harvey finds that out, that's going to be something that they can be proud of. So, yeah, I'm happy about that.
Well, going back a little, because like we said, you initially auditioned for Chicago Fire. That role went to someone else. They kept you in mind. You got an even bigger role, this is like your first major role.
Yeah.
Are you like a firm believer, like everything happens for a reason?
Oh, of course. Of course. It's one of those things, I tell little homies when I go, to schools and even people just in general when they're trying to, strive for their dreams and they're trying to attain a certain amount of success within what they love. I tell them that you got to trust your faith and not your feelings, because my feelings were a little hurt when NBC decided to change the ethnicity of the role that I thought I had in the bag, and then my feelings were a little hurt when I started to see people in the original cast of Chicago PD start to get replaced and fall off, and I thought I was next, so my feelings kind of gave me that anxiety, and my feelings kind of, made me scared for myself. But if you trust your faith more than your feelings, because your faith kept me motivated, and faith kept me encouraged. And if it wasn't for faith, then I probably wouldn't be here.
Awesome.
That's strong. That's strong.
Thanks, Doc.
So now, and because on the show, you're actually the only officer who is from Chicago.
Yeah.
Right. So so you didn't have to fake it.
Nah.
like some of these, But did your upbringing help you really kind of develop and get into this character?
Absolutely. Well, he's a lot like myself. So he's real cool. He's he's a funny guy. I try to be as loyal as possible, especially to my partner, and to the force. But the street savvy that I have, or that the character has, definitely helps me in situations where I need it. Like there's this one episode that is aired where me and my partner, we find ourselves in a tight jam because our car gets jacked up because I was attacked by somebody that was high off heroin, and so I got to go fix my car. Naturally, I can't go take it to the shop that the force has, because that'll take a month. And so with me knowing somebody in the hood that can go fix it, and I can offer him like $300 in Foot Locker gift cards for him to hook it up for me, you know what I'm saying? That's when Atwater is powerful. Those are his strengths. He likes to cut corners and use his connection to hood to get him where he needs to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now, were there any distinct advantages that you have? I guess that some of your other co-stars don't really have because,
Yeah, well, I think the main thing was, they weren't used to that Chicago code.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We had probably one of the longest, most powerful winters that I've ever had in my life of living in Chicago. And, these LA actors, they're strong actors, but it's hard to act like you're not cold when your lip is about to fall off. You know what I'm saying?
Blood is thin out here.
Yeah, the blood just thin. But I'm not going to lie, it was a couple times where I felt pretty disrespected by my own city, man. I was like, it got cold.
Yeah.
I'm talking about to the point where I want to write the writers a letter and ask them if they can write in some scenes where I can be eating some soup or just, doing something warm.
Or something.
Yeah, because, the writers, they in L.A., and they just enjoying this L.A. weather, and they writing us these spring scenes where we got these light jackets on and we running around. I'm like, y'all got to come out here and write this stuff, man, so y'all can understand what we're going through. It got crazy. So, so I think that would be an advantage that I had over the rest of the cast. They weren't really that used to the code,
Well, you mentioned a little bit earlier that cops in Harvey don't necessarily have the best reputation. So how did this affect the way that you portrayed this character? Like, were you a little nervous at first when you found out you'd be playing a cop?
Yeah, I was. And but I fell in love with it when a couple things happened. The first thing that I had to remember was that there were cops in Harvey that did have my back, that I did respect and look up to. And, those are my basketball coaches. My freshman year of high school were cops. And, I had to think about how influential they were in my life, how they instilled within me a hard work ethic, the character, the integrity that they instilled. And so sometimes, and I was a victim of it myself, the city gets so much bad press that you forget how much good actually can come from that place. And so it took me a while to really remember, like, what? I would never bash my city or bash, the people that protect my city, but just being real, it is what it is. And then I had to remind myself that, it's not what it seems on every end of the spectrum. And then, I just fell in love with it because of the cops that I got to work with on the show, namely Brian Luch. He's our lead tech advisor on the show. He's something like a coach and a motivator on set for me. And I fell in love with the idea of being a police officer just from his passion and how he just really loves his job, how he really just wakes up every morning wanting to help people and get home, is one of those situations where, it's you never know if you'll be back home that night. And drug dealers and gangbangers feel the same way. You know what I'm saying? Those bad guys that are out there doing what they're doing what they need to do to survive too. And so at the end of the day, they wake up saying, I want to make it home just like cops do. And I think that's what's great about the show. Chicago PD truly reveals that dichotomy of, the cops and the robbers, where, you kind of get involved in everybody's life and you almost understand why they make mistakes. You almost understand why they make the decisions that they make. But at the end of the day, we all have to live by them. And, that's what the show's about.
Have you ever felt like an added pressure to make your character likable, especially to, your friends and family members who may be watching who still don't like cops or think that they're all horrible?
At first I did. And I think I had to really let that go because it was kind of adding to the stress of the job that I didn't need, The first day of shooting, it all hit me that I'm playing a character that's regularly on the show and people have to love and care about me week by week. And so I think I thought in my mind that I had to do things or do some extra stuff to make people really want me, to make them really care, to make them feel Atwater. But at the end of the day, it's all about the show. Chicago was the star. I just had to learn how to trust the writers and trust my cast, and we all trust each other in a way that we don't really try to make our characters pop. We just play our roles, and the show pops. Thus, we get a little shine as well.
Right. Now, because you talked about trusting the writers, but being from Chicago, do you ever see any storylines you're like, that doesn't really make sense because it wouldn't really happen in Chicago, or are they really good with everything?
No, man, they're really good with it, and they're getting these stories from cops that have experienced these things.
Okay.
And the writers are doing a great job of collaborating with each other to find stories not only just in Chicago, but in areas around Chicago as well, where things like this have actually happened. Like one of the cases that I was confused about once was I think it was episode 4 where we were in the hoarder house where me and my partner had to go and essentially arrest this lady for just being dirty. You know what I mean? And I wanted to do it. My partner didn't want to do it, but ultimately we had to go in there and figure something out. And so we heard this random noise in the basement, and that lady was hiding her own son in the basement. And that's an actual story of a situation that happened somewhere.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I sat down with the writers once and they told me that they're pulling these from true events. So if it's not happening in Chicago, it's happening somewhere.
Doing all their homework.
Yeah.
So, but do they ever consult you, or are you ever called in for a little tweaking on
every
scenes
now and then when it comes to those scenes where they need that authentic hood type of reaction, every now and then I might get my input on what certain characters might be doing on the block, what games they might be playing, like shooting dice, or are they playing video games, or would they be playing spades, or do these dominoes look right? Does that look realistic? You know what I'm saying? Just regular stuff from culture that we would recognize just to make sure that it looks right. Yeah, stuff like that. So yeah, that happens.
Well, we want to take a little moment to congratulate you on the renewal of the 2nd season of Chicago PD. Woo!
Thank you.
That's really awesome news. How did you hear the news?
I heard the news. I think at first it was we have a group message, the cast, and I think one of the cats in the group message just said it randomly, and I was I think I was at a Starbucks, and I just looked down at my phone and I was like, are you serious? You know what I'm saying? And I just got really excited. I called my grandma, and she got excited. Yeah. I mean, because I didn't expect for us to know that early. I honestly expected for me to be going through the summer or through the hiatus, not knowing, and and trying to, like with the same anxiety that I had before the season started.
Right.
But I was thankful that they let me know ahead of time because I ain't need the problems.
Well, you guys are obviously doing something right. Yeah. The even bigger question, how did you celebrate once you heard the news?
Man, what did we do?
Oh, you got to remember.
You guys pop bottles.
Well, bottles get popped. I'm not going to lie to you. Bottles get popped. Bottles got popped the first season premiere. Okay. Bottles were popped, and I think bottles will be popped again once we start the 2nd season. But right there in that moment, to be honest with you, I just took the news pretty calmly. I think it really humbled me, and it made me really sit back and because we were still shooting the first season. Okay. So I didn't really want to get too carried away and start thinking too far ahead. I still had a zone to be in. Right. So to be honest with you, it's probably not going to hit me till we start the next season, and then I'll get excited about it. But as of right now, I think, everybody's still pretty focused on the episodes that we have yet to air, promoting the rest of the season, making sure that the finale is as huge as possible.
Yeah. So, but now, when you were in line at Starbucks, as opposed to getting like a grande, did you go ahead and just get the venti?
Yeah, I just got the venti.
Right.
I said, you know what? I think I can afford this one.
Right.
Y'all can take this tall back. I don't even want it. Y'all can, somebody in the back can have it. And then I got the
Coffee
venti.
for everyone.
And then I'm going to get extra whipped cream on that, too.
Right. Good. I got it now. Second season.
Yeah.
So now, are you grateful that you get to pursue your dreams while staying close to home?
Absolutely. Oh, man, I'm not going to lie to you. If this would have happened in L.A. or Miami or something, man, my grandma really had to pray for me. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're away from home or you're away from where you're rooted, and this being my first opportunity and me still being pretty young and fresh, you know, things can happen. And you know, I think I'm good, but at the same time, for me to be with the same friends that I grew up with, for me to be at home and I can still like see my little sisters. I can still after a long, you know, work day, I can still go back and eat some of grandma's food. I just recently moved downtown. You know, I didn't really. I shot the entire first season in Harvey. You know, while commuting back and forth. So you know, all that I think really just kept me as humble as possible.
Right.
You know, and to do something like this, where you're rooted, not only do you feel blessed, but the people around you do too.
Right.
And then the cool part about it too was that I was able to help the extras casting department cast certain roles.
Oh, cool.
You know, like my nieces and my
friends and
nephews, some of my cousins, some of my friends. Like I was able to put all of them on. You know what I'm saying? And they have
That's
never
awesome.
been able to experience that.
Right.
And so for us to look up every Wednesday at 9 o'clock and see us on TV as opposed to just
Literally,
me.
right.
Yeah, literally. It's like we all in this. You know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah.
opportunity for all of us. So that was dope. My little brother, he went to West Point for 3 years, decided to resign because he wanted to act. And right around the time he made that decision was right around the time that Chicago PD happened for me. And, you know, naturally the comfy position of graduating from West Point Military Academy is comfortable. But I told him, I was like, bro, if that's not what you want to do, you know, if you want to follow your dreams, you can. You know what I'm saying? Because right now I have an opportunity where if you need it and if you need the support, I can support you. So it made that decision for him that much easier, you know, to come back and start chasing his dreams. And as soon as he did, he hit the ground running. And I was able to help him get I didn't have to do it, actually. He got it on his own. But he came and got agents. Him and I have the same agents, and he landed a role on the show.
Wow.
You know, and so his first acting gig was on mine, you know,
Right.
and that was special to be able to do that. So that's the advantages of doing it at home.
Yeah.
Because you know they trust the people that you can bring to the table.
Watch out for the Hawkins family.
Yeah, we
They're
ain't
gonna be
playing.
Famous.
Shout out to little bro Lamar Hawkins at Illinois State right now, getting it cracking, studying acting.
Love it. That's
Hawk
really
Doggy
awesome.
on Instagram. I was playing.
Check them out on Facebook. Check them out.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, how is the entertainment industry in Chicago different than Hollywood?
Man, I didn't really understand how powerful Hollywood was till I was out. I'm out here for a week, and it's a different beast.
Right.
It's a different beast. I mean, from the, like, I'm not gonna lie. When I go to Chicago, when I'm in Chicago, and I walk up to the club, and I tell them somebody tells them I'm LaRoyce Hawkins from Chicago PD, that holds a little weight, you know, because it's Chicago PD, I'm from Chicago, and they care about that stuff. They don't care about that out here, though. Like yesterday, I tried to finesse that situation, and they was like, that's cool. But he gonna have to pay this $55 to get in.
Where'd you go?
Man, where were we at, bro? I don't even remember. The Oak or something like that.
One Oak.
One Oak on
Okay.
Sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't care about me, man. So
They're charging $55 to get in.
I don't know how much they were charging, but
like 50.
Oh,
Yeah.
bro. Bottle service.
oh yeah. They wanted me to buy bottles and tables
Yeah.
for people
That's
and all that stuff, and I was like,
Hollywood.
man, I know, right? And so
Hollywood.
that's a different beast. But even as far as the industry is concerned, you know, Chicago is a smaller market. You know, naturally we're on the rise and the come up because we're getting a lot of new TV shows and they're shooting a lot of films and whatnot there, and that's exciting. But you know, it still can't really hold a candle to what's going on out here in Hollywood. Like you see big billboards that are as tall as the building that it's on, advertising and promoting stuff. So that just, I mean, this is the mecca of entertainment, you know. And I came out here and I enjoy it. You know, it's something I think I've been ready for a while, so I'm not overwhelmed. It's just good to see. It's good to be here because you can feel that energy.
Right.
You don't feel that same energy in Chicago. I mean, it's cold,
Right.
but it still lacks that fire. You
Right.
know.
But now, as Chicago's budding, like, do you see more opportunities popping up in Chicago now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're seeing people. You know, I have buddies that actually live out here or in other powerful areas like Atlanta's and New York's that are trying to get to Chicago now. You know, yeah, like, you know, I think there were at least 6 or 7 TV shows being shot at the same time because we all share at the same production office. And you know, naturally, they're pulling people from these areas because they know an LA actor or a New York actor is going to come to Chicago and get it cracking. But the Chicago talent, I think, is a big. I think what's important to understand is that the Chicago talent at this point has to do their best to make sure that they're not letting LA actors or New York actors, no offense to them, but come into their city and take
their
over.
roles, yeah.
You know, because Chicago is a great place for talent, raw talent, and whatnot. And so I think it's more of a wake up call for Chicago people than it is for anybody else.
Well, now that you've had your little taste of Hollywood, you think you would make plans to come out here full time, or you'd miss your grandma too much?
I would miss her dearly. But you know, I think Chicago will always be where I'm based. I can see myself definitely. I mean, this is right now. You know, in a perfect world, I would hit a ceiling in Chicago that would, you know, force me to have to move out here
Right.
full time. And so if that happens, you know, that's a bridge I'll cross when I get there. But, you know, I really like how my career started thus far. And I think it will be hard for me to uproot from Chicago. So I think my base will always be there.
Right.
And I just, you know, I kick with y'all when I can.
Well, playing a cop is such a strong and memorable role, especially
Yeah.
for a TV show where viewers are watching you every week
Yeah.
in this role as opposed to like a movie or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever worry that being a cop in your first major role might typecast you for upcoming roles in the future?
It's something that I thought about a little bit, and I don't really think I have a problem. You know, I think that it actually sets me up for the types of roles that I want to do. You know, I like to think of myself as a guy that can handle action, as a guy that can handle drama, even though I have a comedy background. I think it's there are certain elements of this character that he is showing the world that you can take him seriously as an actor because he plays a serious kind of professional.
Right.
You know, and I'm looking forward to that moment where I'll be able to show them that other side. I think I'm introducing them to a part of me right now that doesn't come as naturally as the humor and the funny. And so I think it'll be dope when I do switch it up and people say, "Oh wow, he actually has a range, you know, and a little versatility."
Well, speaking of that range, what are some specific roles that you would like to play in the future that you've always dreamed of or thought about?
You know, I wanted to be a Ninja Turtle when I was a little homie. And if you know, I know they make a lot of Ninja Turtle movies.
They're making the movie.
They're making
Right.
one right
Yeah.
now. I'm excited about that. But you know, stuff like that. You know, I work hard to be able to make sure I keep myself in the shape to where I can do those kind of things. You know, where I might not necessarily be a Ninja Turtle really, but you know, just
Maybe
something.
Splinter.
Yeah, so something like a Hancock, like what Will Smith
Right.
did. You know, but I'm also very in touch with a movie like a Ray or Forrest Gump. You know what I'm saying? That kind of has a sense of history to it. You know, where people can look at a character or a persona that they used to love, and then we get to relive it through whatever I bring to the character. You know, but the funny thing, I was playing spades at one of my friend's house out here, and you know, I had a little audience, and I was being funny, and people were paying attention. And this young lady, she looked at me. She said, "You're like a sexy Craig Robinson." And I was like, and I took that as a powerful compliment
That's funny.
because you know, Craig Robinson, he's hilarious.
He's funny,
you know?
yeah.
But if he got chest naked, he might be hideous. Who's to say? But I take that.
Just throwing it out there.
Wow.
As a black man, are there any roles out there that you just absolutely would not take?
You know, I think my theater background kind of teaches you not to do that. You know, I did a big play back in my old school called Equus, where I was a horse, you know, and I never really saw myself, and I wasn't like playing a horse, I was a horse, and I had to make people believe that I was a horse and not a guy acting like a horse. And when I pulled that off, I told myself that I wasn't going to tell myself that I couldn't do anything, you know. And so I think I'm open to any kind of role. You know, naturally, there are things that, you know, may or may not make somebody uncomfortable, and if you don't feel like you can represent it, then you just don't. You know, you don't disrespect any kind of, you know, concept or idea. But I'm pretty open to anything at this point.
Oh, but all right, but let me ask you.
Yeah.
Right. So would you do, you know, the Tyler Perry in Medea, and you know, do the makeup and the dress and the whole thing?
I can't say I can't, because I have before. I did a play a while ago where I played a character named Miss Josephine, and I got up every night in one of my auntie's dresses that she let me borrow, and I was killing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And it was, you know, that's right when that was around the time when Tyler Perry had really just came out. And that was just the trend, and so that's what somebody asked me to do. So I did it, and I can't say I didn't enjoy doing it. It actually opened up more opportunities for me as a young artist. At this point, if I had to do it, I can't say that I wouldn't, especially if, you know, I mean, I get paid to act.
Right.
You know, and so if you put a check in front of me and say, this is how much we're going to pay you to act, I'm going to do my job.
But okay, but now, would you do like the Ving Rhames role in Pulp Fiction?
See, that's a difficult question.
I'm just saying, you know, because if they put the check in front of you, this is how much we're going to pay you. This is what the role is.
Yeah, and I tried to preface the answer to a question like this by saying if I don't feel like I can represent the role to the best that I can, then I won't, and I won't misrepresent myself or any, you know, genre of people for any amount of money, you know. But if it's something, like I said, that I think I can do, and I think I can represent myself and the concept well, then you know, I'm gonna get it cracking like chapped lips.
Good answer.
There you go. Yeah, because Hollywood is a beast, you know, and it's a totally different beast in Black Hollywood than it is, you know, Hollywood. You know
I'm figuring that out.
Yeah. So now you haven't been out of college that long.
No,
right?
a couple years.
So did you think that you would have like this kind of success right out of the gate?
No. Because I learned early in my career, because I thought I was gonna be real powerful, especially after I landed my first audition pretty much, and so from there, I thought that it was just like that. You know, I just thought I was the man, and I thought that every audition was going to be as easy, and I was just going to get them. And it took me a very, very long time to land my next situation, and it actually forced me to really have to go back to school. You know, like I thought I was just going to be a overnight success. I was striking while the iron was hot, and I thought about coming out here to LA and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it didn't really work out like that. And so I went back to school, and that humbled me, and I learned that I want to have a long career, a career that I can be proud of. So I went back and studied my craft, and I think I got all that I could out of that spot in my life. And I didn't expect that, you know, coming out of college. I knew it was going to be tough. I knew it was going to be a long, hard road. I knew I was going to have to trust my faith and not my feelings, like I mentioned earlier. So I mean, this is a surprise to me. Like, I've been out here in LA, and I've been able to come out here and just see things and meet people off the strength of my gift and off the strength of, you know, the character that I play on TV. And I've been accepted, you know. And you know what's going to happen, but you don't know when.
Right.
And I think that's the adventure of being an artist. That's what I used to love about it. It's like every day you can wake up and be famous.
Right.
You never know when that day is going to be, you know.
Well, considering you're still fairly new to the business, I'm sure you're still learning so much every single day. To date, what are some of the most important lessons that you've learned in this industry?
Not to take anything personal, you know, that it is a business. I think the most valuable lessons that I've learned recently is just it's a business, and At the end of the day, the colors don't matter unless it's green, and you make the best decision for yourself and for your career. And like I said, the faith over feelings thing is just a theme for me. I wake up with that every day.
What's the biggest challenge that you've faced so far?
I think the biggest challenge, I guess, is being able to let stuff go. There's a lot of pressure that comes on an actor that's on TV a lot. Like, I had to learn how to just let things go. Sometimes I would walk away from set and really be worried about what I just did on camera. And I would really not sleep some nights because I was just afraid of how I thought I looked or how bad I thought I was. And then it comes out and you see it and you're like, that's actually pretty good.
Right.
And so that was one of the biggest challenge for me was being able to just let my work go, trust the show, invest in the show more than anything else. And I think if you do that, then you wind up on top because the show is doing great and that's all I care about. Yeah.
Well, how many takes do you guys generally do when you shoot it?
Man, it takes about 10 days to shoot an episode.
Okay.
I don't take that many takes. I'm not trying to say I'm like a one take wonder. They just don't give me that many. You know what I'm saying? They like, Roy, we gonna give you about 3 or 4 takes to get this right, dog, and you figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But as many takes as it takes. I think we've shot certain things for an entire morning once. Just you got to get it right. And we understand that time is money, but we work hard. So I think the most takes I've probably done with one situation though was maybe like close to like 12 to 15.
Wow.
Because you guys shoot single camera, right?
No. So some usually it's 2.
Oh, okay.
But toward the end of the season, we started rocking with 3.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it got that serious.
Yeah, you guys are doing big things
Killing
over
it.
there, right?
Yeah.
So, who are some of your acting inspirations?
Acting inspirations. I'm a big fan of Robert Downey Jr. I think he's probably the most versatile actor that we have in the game. I'm a big fan of Jamie Foxx. I think I modeled my style, my comedy style especially, from him, and then even in the way that he's versatile enough to play a Ray, and also do a Collateral or a movie like The Soloist. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I like that. I like to think that I can tap into those things too. And as an artist, I sing as well. And so the way that he utilizes the strength of his voice and whatnot, I really enjoy that. So Robert Downey Jr., Jamie Foxx, and Will Smith too. Will Smith is dope. And it goes without saying that, as a black actor, you look up to the Denzels and the Morgan Freemans,
Yeah.
Well, speaking of singing, you're also a musician, a spoken word artist, and watch out, Nick, you have some competition, a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
How did you decide to focus on acting?
Well, acting is, I think I fell in love with that. And once it just became the bread and butter, I still do everything. I can't, as far as a musician is concerned, I sing, I'm working on instruments, but I guess singing is my instrument more than anything. And then, but I still do those things. I still have a regular show that I host in Chicago called Refuge Sunday that I do every last Sunday of the month. And that's where I get to flex out my material, and that's where you get a little stand up out of me. I still sing. I had to sing at a friend's wedding not too long ago, which was powerful. And spoken word, that's something that you get that itch, man, and you can just go to any open mic and just, you do your thing.
Just knock it out.
Yeah, you talk about, what's on your mind or what's on your heart. So, and that's what I love about being in Chicago too. Still, is that I can still do all those things that I'm used to doing. Right. And I think it informs my acting, and my acting informs all those other things too.
Which one is your true passion of all those things?
Of all those things, acting included, I think acting is. I think acting is. Because I think you can do a little bit of that in all of them.
Right.
You know, there's, you know, when I'm doing spoken word or doing stand up, I'm utilizing skills that I learned in acting classes, and I'm flexing muscles that I will have to use on set and on stage.
All right.
Yeah.
So complete the sentence. In 10 years, I want to be blank.
Stumped him.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Because I'm about to give you a word that I think explains everybody and everything and what we all want to be. And so in 10 years, I want to be powerful.
I thought you were going to say successful. After that, I just want to be.
In 10 years, I want to be powerful in every sense of the word. I want, power doesn't necessarily mean money. Power, I think, expresses a certain amount of influence, a certain amount of strength, a certain amount of confidence. You know, in 10 years, if I can just be powerful, I think I'll be good.
I have to agree with you. I think that's something that we all want.
Yeah.
Well, before we take off, we want to give you a little opportunity to tell us what's next on your radar. What can we look forward to seeing you and stalking you and following everything you do on?
Okay, cool. Well, what the world can look out for is not only another season of Chicago PD, where you can follow my character Kevin Atwater, and you can watch him get it cracking like chap lips. But we can also find me soon reoccurring as a character on a new series on HBO called Ballers.
Oh, cool.
That'll be out soon. Ballers has The Rock, and you know it's produced by Mark Wahlberg and Steve Levinson and those boys, and so I think that's going to be powerful. And then besides that, just expect to see a lot more of me, really showing the world what I can do. I got a website and a web series coming out soon. I got a lot of fresh ideas and things like that I think the world is going to check out. I think you may even see me as a writer.
Nice.
On a show eventually.
Wow.
So yeah, look out for that.
Forward to that. Tell us where we can find that website. Tell us where we can find you on social media.
Okay.
Online.
Well, LaRoyceHawkins.com is coming extremely soon, and on Twitter and Instagram and all those jazzes, you can find me at Royce the Voice, RoyceDavoice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank y'all for having me. I had a great time.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Y'all are fun.
Where can we find you, Nick Perdue?
Under a rock. You can find me all over the internet at the Nick Perdue.
And you can find me on Twitter at I am Jessica King. Thank you for joining us again today. Until next time, we'll see you later.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.
Thanks for watching Black Hollywood Live on YouTube. For more in-depth interviews and news, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion in the comment section below here. See you soon, everyone. Bye.